Hey, Art 3, this is the introduction to our big ink project, and it's what's inside your bag. So the idea is we're going to get one of our bags, whether it's a purse or a backpack or a lunch pail or whatever, and kind of draw it with stuff coming out of it to kind of tell more about the owner of that bag. So because the stuff that we keep in our lives kind of tells a story about us. So now we can kind of go with the basics. You guys are students. You can do your backpack with, your pencils and your notebooks coming out of it. But this also gives you an opportunity to say a little bit more about like what's important to you. For example, this the little ear pods coming out helps us show like, hey, music could be very important to this person. Or as you see at this one, when we look at this, we might feel like this person is kind of like a little foo-foo and likes high fashion. They have Chanel and Gucci stuff, So yeah, the stuff coming out of our bag can say a lot about us. And we have options here. It doesn't just have to be a school bag. Okay, a tool bag can work too. And the way that we have stuff coming out can kind of be funny, the way that trying to cram stuff into this looks like almost like a camping bag or a sports bag. Kind of say something very neat, though. This person is very nicely folded, hospital corners. We can get very, very creative with what we do with this project. Okay. All right, so what we want to do is, again, to have the bag and show a few things coming out of the bag so that we get more of a sense of the identity of the person, whether this is your bag and your stuff, or maybe you're creating this drawing about somebody else in your family or your friends or something. So you can ask yourselves these questions and ask yourself questions about the person that that the bag represents. What are they like? What's their personality in 5 words or something? What's important to them that they have to carry it around with them all the time, besides stuff like their phone, sometimes these things can kind of tell us like the person's background and what they got going on in the bank a little bit. We all have different financial standings, and that becomes part of our identity because it kind of shapes our lives. So there's lots of things to tell with this project. Okay, so some of these are requirements. We're going to, I want to see enough of the bag so I understand if it's a purse or a backpack or a satchel or a sports bag or something. We need a minimum of 5 contents. I wouldn't go crazy and put like 20 contents, but 5, 6 contents would be good. And we want to get a sense of the person's identity. So you have to make sure to do that. I really recommend not just putting pencils, and a notebook coming out of the bag. Really try and show who that person is. If it was me, you'd see my poetry journals like coming out of there, my poetry books that I buy from other poets. You'd probably see a deodorant bottle coming out of my bag because sometimes I carry that around with me because I get really scared I'm going to sweat too much. So yeah, lots of little things like that. And we will be setting up our own still life. And we're going to make sure that we have a nice strong composition and not just everything is like drawn small in the center of the paper. Okay, so what we'll do today is I want like a good, like pretend you have your sketchbook. I know many of you do. And start thinking about this. Who do you want to portray? What bag are you going to use? What are the different things that could be coming out of it? You can make lists and little sketches. That would be really, really good. Brainstorm lots of stuff that could be coming out of this person's bag. And then you can kind of hone down on like the 5 or 6 objects that really tells a story about them. Starting out with lots of little sketches and ideas like this is really, really good. That way we can choose which ones will work the best to show that person's identity through this drawing. So that's it. Get started. Good luck. Have fun.